Hey, what's going on? You're about to watch the ASME podcast. My name is Justin. I'm the editor. Just wanted to let you guys know ahead of time that we did have a few technical difficulties, unfortunately. So you'll be greeted by this sign right here. Um, all that means is that we switched to the audio only format while we were recording this. So just look out for that. Enjoy.
Hello, welcome to ASME Mech Talk podcast. Today we're going to be talking about COVID and its effects on us, the club, and anything else that comes up. So our first question is, where were you when you first heard the news about classes being online for the rest of the spring semester? So this past semester, when you heard when you heard that class is going to be online, how did y'all react? Like, where were you?
Yeah, I'll start off. I was actually just finishing up our materials lab, and everyone was talking about the petition going around and saying some people saying that it was just kind of nonsense and that COVID was nothing going to not really be that big and it wasn't going to hit us at all. And then the school made a big email saying that we were getting an extended spring break, and everyone was just like starting to freak out, and they were just like, "Oh my God, is this really happening?" And then as soon as I left school, I was just like, "All right, I'm expecting a panic." So I went shopping, and the stores were completely full of people, but almost out of absolutely everything, as crisis usually cause stores to go through. And I just remember just like being like, I hope this ends soon because it's just absolutely insane. But here we are, still stuck at home and forced to wear a mask outside of our apartments. Uh, what did you guys experience?
Um, well, I remember this crazy guy at work. His name was Eric, and he was like, "Hey man, you heard the news?" And I'm like, "Oh, what news?" He's always on about some news, and he's like, "Yeah, there's this virus out in China, and this and that. It's coming. It's coming. Like, you better buy your canned goods, beans, everything." And I'm like, "Okay, you're weird. You're dumb. This is not." He was always saying something crazy, so I always ignored him. And then 2 weeks later, I'm like, I remember going to the store. I didn't really pay attention to the news. I wasn't watching the news. I was always preoccupied with school. And I remember going to the store and I'm like, there's not a lot of toilet paper here. There's actually not that much. And then I was like, dude, this guy was for real. He was making some sense. I went to go check the canned goods and like sure enough, low stock. And I'm like, damn. I turned into the news and I'm like, there it is, Corona. It's out here. So I remember that's when like everything started for me when I had to like not adapt but kind of change my way I was going about every day. So shortly after, what was it? Spring break.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the exact timeline. Did I hear that first and then we went to spring break, or was it during spring break?
Well, the
But
It was
email
It
was
was
it was
right
issued
like
the
before.
it was
week
like 2 days
before.
before.
it was a week before. Well, whenever, right? I'm sitting in my apartment. I was living at Canyon Creek, so I see the petition. There was a petition going around like, "Hey, we should extend spring break because COVID, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, that sounds totally cool. I'll take an extra week, no problem. I hate school." And then they gave us an extra week turned into never going back to school, and then we were just online, and then that sucks. Yeah, that's how it happened for me.
Okay, interesting. Uh, I guess I'll go next. For me, it was the Friday before the spring break. I was working on a CAD project with my teammates. That was the last time I ever saw them in person. Last time I really saw any of my friends in person. I remember it was raining as well. I think it was also Friday the 13th to think of it, and it's pretty interesting. And then yeah, spring break kicks in. We everyone signs the survey. School sends out email, mass email. Hey, we're extending spring break. Same story, and yeah, it's never ending little break from school. Because honestly, I still haven't adapted to studying from home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, that sucks. I hate studying from home. Like, especially where I am now, because like I'm at home, like with the rest of the family, and they're loud. My brother's loud. It just it's lame. I'd rather be back in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah, same
That's
here.
just me. Are y'all? Wait, where are you guys?
I'm actually
And
still living in Dallas.
Okay.
Mhm. What were you
yeah,
saying,
I
Alice?
commute, so I've never really left.
Uh,
um, when I heard the news, I was in AEM. I was like, I remember talking about it with my friend, and like at the time we didn't know much about the virus, so like, I didn't think it was gonna blow up. Like I didn't think the shutdown would last this long. I knew it would shut down, but I didn't think it would like half a year later and we're still here type of thing. Um, so yeah, I remember saying goodbye to her in the parking lot. It's like, hey, see ya when I see ya. I never saw her again.
Yeah.
Like most of these stories go, we never see like we haven't seen our friends since. So
Hmm.
yeah,
It's crazy that like
um,
friendships have like adapted from in person to a lot of online kind of interchange. Like
mm-hmm,
I don't know, it's insane. Um, One of the things I've kind of started doing when COVID started, being home all the time, especially over the summer, because we ended classes very abruptly after it started, and then we were all forced home. I started playing a lot of video games, like a lot more video games than I was used to, and it was all PC gaming. So at first I was playing by myself, and then I started playing with some of my friends back at school. That led to me playing with their hometown friends, and now I'm like well interconnected with that group of friends. And I don't know, it's kind of crazy. Out of like COVID, I've like gained a significant number of friends that I still talk to very regularly, but I haven't really seen any of them face to face, which is kind of strange to me because I'm usually like really used to talking to people face to face at school and being kind of like oh yeah, if we wanted to hang out, we just live like a couple of miles away from each other because we're all here on campus. But whereas now it's just like oh yeah, we could be hundreds of miles away from each other, but we'll still hang out on Discord or something like that.
wow.
yeah, I hang out with a lot of my online friends more. Like I I've always had online friends even before this shutdown, but I just talk to them even more now because that's all you can do, and I've gotten closer to a lot of them, and I started like as Erasmus said, playing more games. I don't have any consoles, so they're mostly PC games and mobile games, always free.
Hmm.
But yeah, I probably could use the time for something else, but you know, socializing is socializing,
Yeah.
regardless of the form.
Hmm.
Yeah. I
What
can
did you
relate.
guys? Oh,
Yeah. Go
I
ahead,
can
Joseph.
relate. Um, so I still talk to my best friend, whose name is also Justin. Like we've kept in contact this entire time. We're the same major, come from the same place. So like naturally, we've just been talking with each other this entire time. We use Discord. That's cool. But like everyone else, either they adapted to the online format and like we still keep in contact, or like they just dropped. You know, I had a lot of not a lot of friends, a lot of acquaintances, just people I would speak to in the halls type of deal. But
hmm.
like, I don't know. Now's the time where you really see like your true friends.
Yeah.
That's what happened for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hmm. You, Eric, what'd you experience?
Similar thing to you guys. You know, got into gaming hardcore.
Yeah.
uh, Upgraded my PC. Spent about $600 on that. That was
Nice.
fun. Uh, I got a I got a job as well over the summer. Just to that was my other form of socialization apart from gaming with friends and just having fun online.
Yeah.
And
Actually,
yeah,
funny thing
working has
about
been
that.
a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So since I work at a grocery store, as like my part-time job, that week, that spring break of COVID, was that first initial week, as you might expect, was crazy. Even at um, the store I work at, which is really more specialty food kind of orientated, um, it was crazy. Like we, me and my manager, literally worked at least 60 hours in like that weekend alone. Like like figuring out like oh god, like COVID is hitting us super hard. They worked us like I worked like yeah 14 hours 2 days in a row, and then whatever sum is left in the next day. And then I worked like a couple of days before, but like still it was insane amount of work. And for the next like 2 weeks, it was still like super strong, unlimited hours, all these things, which is unheard of. Like, why does a company have to like force itself to say like unlimited hours? Doesn't matter how much overtime you go, it doesn't matter. So seeing businesses do that is like it's wild, but like that there we had the customers, which probably was not a great idea because that only allowed the disease to propagate a little bit more. But at least in the initial states, Texas wasn't as bad as maybe New York or some of the other popular cities like Chicago, but it still was very dangerous to go through that very peak in grocery sales and all these things and claiming that essential workers were saving the world by you know being open, which there's two sides to it. Like yeah, I mean you can't shut down food, but it's also like you gotta limit it to some extent because you can't just have 100 plus people in a small little department that's only meant to carry about like 30 people. So I don't know. That was really insane. And then all the rules that came with it, all the requirements, the new cleaning schedules, it was a lot. Like it really did transform a lot of industries. Like I was also working a internship while this was happening. And of course that first week there were those first like 3 weeks there was just like, look, don't even come to the office. The office is closed. We'll send you work when we got things situated. And yeah, I was expecting it to be a week. They took 3 weeks. I thought I got laid off secretly, but they came back and they were just like, "Hey, here's some work for you. Sorry for being silent. It's just been crazy." And I was just like, "Yeah, I understand, because I don't know, a virus hits hard."
That is so. It's funny how I had such a different experience than you, besides the fact that we were both working retail. So, I mean, I have a part time job, or I should say, had now a part time job at Academy. So, not a grocery store, right? Still retail, but
Mhm.
I had a totally different experience. I remember in the beginning, um, like when it was first starting to like really make itself known, we traffic didn't change. It didn't change. People were still coming in, mask, no mask. Like we didn't really enforce anything in the beginning. And then when they were like, CDC, okay, CDC first said that masks were dumb. Am I wrong? And then they were like, no, wait, masks, you should put them on. Because I
Mhm.
thought the original argument was something along the lines of, hey, we need to save all the masks for the people that actually need them.
Yeah.
And then there was that mask shortage or something like that.
Mhm.
So I think that's why we didn't enforce it in the beginning.
Yeah.
So once they were like, okay, yeah, no, put a mask on, stay 6 feet away from each other. That's when we started enforcing it.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, yeah, traffic was still the same for a while, and then just total death. It just died. I work at Academy. We sell guns. We sell ammo. That was like gone within the first couple of weeks. Everybody was buying guns. Everybody was buying ammo. Like people were acting crazy. There were people coming to the shoe department, going to my department, being like, "Hey, where's the ammo? Where's the guns?" Those were like I want to say at least half of the interactions I was getting on a daily basis back then.
Yeah.
So that was super interesting.
Yeah.
Um, all the fitness equipment that went super quick too. I was fortunate enough to get a barbell and some plates for myself, but like
Mhm.
now you can't find them anymore unless you're gonna wait for like online stuff.
Yeah.
You're gonna
It
say something?
it
I saw your face.
yeah, it's actually funny like how certain industries have actually really benefited from this like stay-at-home order. Like gaming obviously like has
Oh
and
yeah.
a
Oh
Nintendo.
yeah, Nintendo, Steam, all these other like mainly PC gaming and like some console gaming but mainly PC cuz like I'm just gonna say Minecraft, Among Us, Fall Guys, all those kinds of games are like super super big, especially since everyone's staying home. Also, fitness equipment. Like up here, I have a hangboard because I like to do climbing. But when quarantine started, I couldn't go climbing, so I was just like, all right, I need to find something I could use to just kind of hang off of and like still keep my arms and forearms like primed so that when I can go back climbing, I'm not super weak. But like finding that was incredibly difficult because everything was sold out. And if you look for bikes, if you look for absolutely anything, it was all sold out. So it's kind of funny how like people, I mean it's clear that um COVID is an economic crisis because people lose their jobs, companies have been going out of business. Like I used to go to this old arcade back where I lived, but due to COVID it got shut down because you can't pay if no one's coming to your arcade, so you can't keep the little warehouse where you're hosting the arcade games and stuff. But yeah, like some industries spiked while others went far down, and it's very unfortunate because the industries that went down are small businesses and people that were genuinely like doing business that maybe isn't as sustainable but in a normal life is like necessary or just fun to go to. Entertainment really has gone down, like movie theaters and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
um
yeah.
Yeah.
it's kind of funny
Actually,
how like
think about yeah.
yeah, it's kind of funny how like like I'm gonna use a movie's name. I probably won't say it, but there's a certain movie ad going around that's like big movies are back in Dallas or blah blah blah, and I'm
I think
just
I've seen
like,
that.
huh? Do you know
I
what
think I've
movie I'm
seen that.
talking about? Yeah,
Fisher's Tenet.
yeah. I didn't want to say it, but yeah, it's the movie Tenet. So that one, it's advertising that it's back and big movies are back, but it's just like there's a reason why big movies are not coming out right now because no one's comfortable to go to movie theaters. So they know if they come out right now, no one's gonna watch it. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like the horrible case that these multi-billion-dollar projects are losing money because they can't make the sales at the box office anymore. They either have to go on demand or just wait for the big surprise later. It's kind of funny.
One of my friends works at an AMC. She says they get about 2 to 3 people within like her 4 hour shifts,
Wow.
and it's pretty tragic. Yeah, yeah. But
Yikes.
another funny part is I work in the beer industry, and the sales are out of the roof, dude. It's insane. We've
The
especially right
beer
now because
industry?
yeah, beer industry, and since it's football season right now, it's just it's a wildfire, dude. People in
uh,
the Walmart aisles go crazy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I have a friend who works in the coffee industry. Same thing. Like the business was feeling kind of hurt. It wasn't getting as much sales before COVID. As soon as COVID hit, everyone was looking online because they weren't really in a grocery store. They were only selling online. But once like they didn't want to go to the grocery store, they started looking on Amazon. They found their business, and well, now they're selling like 1,000 units per day. Where it was just like, yeah, we sell like 100 or something like that a day. I don't know. It's kind of fun to see like the socioeconomic impacts of COVID. So,
Yeah. I have a lot of family, extended family that works in healthcare, and so they've been impacted de- like a lot differently depending on what sector they work in. Some of my cousin is a dentist that works at a office, but he had to downsize a bit, so he's like one of the only two dentists like on for his shift, and they canceled out all electives, but he still has a bunch of like surgeries to do, like um crowns and like fillings and like extractions, like the necessary stuff. But he's the only and so like he makes a lot of money because like he's a dentist, he's working like overtime emergency surgery, so of course, but he's also working a ridiculous amount of hours, and it's a lot of hard work, and the same things happened with my like aunts and my other cousins who work as nurses and like doctors. Even though their electives got canceled, they still have a lot of they picked out a lot of extra work with like just emergency cases or like COVID. Like one of my aunts, some of my aunts work with like COVID patients, even though um, it's not as bad as some of the other areas where I live. It's not as bad as like some of the
Oh,
high spot areas, but it's still like it's kind of worrisome because they come home and they like they could spread it to their family, and then my grandparents are like super high risk.
Immunocompromised.
They're like
Yeah.
90, and so
yeah.
Yeah.
they can't.
Yikes.
So we have to be really careful when we're going around. Like my grandparents and family works in some form of healthcare, or like they have to go to work since they can't like work from home.
Hmm.
Really, it's just really hard to like for them and to like socializing with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like me personally, I wasn't really affected because I didn't have like a in-person job during all of this, and my parents work they work as like engineers and architects for like American Airlines or something, but
Hmm.
it's something that can be easily done.
Yeah. Something I was kind of like interesting to hear is I like my internship was for an international company. It's called TNA Solutions. They do food manufacturing, equipment manufacturing, or something. I forget exactly how to explain it. But yeah, they're an international company. They have places in China, Japan, Australia, Europe. Here in America, they have some in Mexico, Brazil. So they're all over the place. And hearing and they had town meetings, and just hearing how corporations were like viewing COVID, it was really interesting. So 2008 was a recession, and it was really brutal for a lot of companies. And I didn't know this because I guess I wasn't really very learned on it, but it was an international crisis also, just like COVID. So corporations are treating COVID almost exactly like 2008, which is kind of crazy to me because it's like these are two completely different things. Like one is a threat to human life, while the other one's just an economic crisis. But there's a strange connection to the two because you can't have any economy without human life. So I don't know. It's just kind of a wild concept to think like, oh yeah, these people are talking about it nonchalantly, like it's just like a recession and all these things, and that they weren't worried because they still had a lot of business coming in and blah blah blah. And I was just like, but there's people dying. How can we like just operate normally? But I don't know. I guess well, corporations just have to look that way sometimes. What do you guys think about that? Or like, how would you guys
I mean, their main.
relate it to 2008?
Hmm? I mean, I in 2008, so like I probably know nothing on that topic.
Hmm.
Let's be real here. 8-year old me was not engrossed in other than what Pokemon.
Yeah. Uh oh. Give me a second. And we're back. So, what do you guys think of 2008
Pretty good
in
year.
compared to like COVID? Like, not
Yeah,
exactly.
pretty good year compared to COVID. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Honestly,
good year.
personally, a better year than COVID year. My family probably wasn't affected as
I mean,
much.
yes,
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
lot
actually,
has
yeah,
happened
my
this
family
year.
wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my dad worked construction back in 2008. We did. I think we were still in Florida, doing
Hmm.
roofing. Yeah, we should. Yeah, I was still roofing in California, not California, Florida. And I mean, roofing kept strong. You know, people still needed roofs after like a big hurricane. It was hurricane season, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, and now my dad's a truck driver. First few months after COVID, it was hectic, right? Not that many things were selling. Well, I mean, apart from like grocery stores, but to get into a grocery store, you have to have like 10 years of experience prior, and then after that, it's like a constant barrage of work. But my dad doesn't necessarily like that. He likes to be his own boss, so we have our own trucking company, and I mean, it's been working out lately. Things are getting back to normal, a lot more normal.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's been
That's
interesting.
funny you say that. My mom is just recently became a truck driver. I think
Ah, okay.
what, last year. She started
Last year.
last year. Yeah, she
Did,
was
did
working
she
at
have to face
Walmart.
that? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, she was working as a she was a manager for a while, and she was like, I hate this, and then she just quit out of nowhere, like in the worst time possible back then for us, and then she was just like, yeah, I'm gonna be a truck driver, and then she's working with Swift right now. So
Swift. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
cool stuff, cool stuff. Um,
Cool until you look at your paycheck and they pay you
she
like
make
42 cents a mile.
I mean, she's making more than she was before. So
Okay.
I mean, not too bad, but
Yeah.
I think she's probably pulling in like on average a grand a week, which is
Yeah.
more than what she was. I mean,
Hmm.
she was probably getting maybe 3K a month with Walmart, but
Mhm.
Yeah,
yeah, it's cool. She's always away though. That's what
Yeah.
that's the
sucks.
unfortunate thing.
I haven't
Yes.
seen her
Yeah.
in a couple months now. She'll be back in November, but I mean, she likes it. She likes it though. So
Hmm.
it's a
Yeah.
cool
That's
thing.
also why my dad wanted to, have his own company. He took the liberty of risk and said, "I'm gonna buy my own truck. I'm gonna buy my own equipment and
Mm-hmm.
everything."
Yeah,
Everything's worked out since then. But
Hmm.
owner operator is what they're called,
owner
right?
operator. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Hey,
Yeah. He wanted to
Nice.
expand, but I was like, it's not a good idea right now.
get another truck. Just throw it
Oh
on a
yeah.
Yeah.
credit card. You'll be fine.
Well,
Oh boy.
Yeah.
it's been
Mm,
interesting. How about y'all?
Um, I don't know.
um.
2008 was a weird time for me. Um, my dad's the my dad worked at Frito Lay as an inspection manager or something like that. And due to 2008, unfortunately, his plant got closed. So it was a very strange era for us because it wasn't only like I don't know. I mean, losing a job like that is very weird, especially during a recession. So it did scare us a lot. We ended up being fine. Uh, we were well off, so we didn't really lose too much. In fact, I don't think we lost anything at all because I don't know. I mean, we're somehow prepared for it. But like you know, economically, everything kind of stabilized after my dad finally found a job after like I think it was like 3 4 months of not having a one. So I guess in contrast to like COVID, my dad's job is luckily international and considered essential because it deals with food businesses. So he we got on the lucky side this time, and we are not facing anything too crazy. But that doesn't mean like I don't know. I still feel like comparing COVID to 2008 is still kind of unfair because like two very different like levels of damage caused by both,
Yeah, you didn't have people dropping like flies back in 2008. But
which is unfortunate to say, but it's
Yeah.
true. Like the
yeah,
death toll is absurdly high. It's scary.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's still gonna rise. If
Yeah.
you there's so
Oh,
much
Alice.
Oh,
difference.
you're
Um,
lagging, Alice.
Yeah,
some
you sound.
businesses go up, some businesses close down.
Yeah.
That's business. That's they really
Yeah.
profit is king. I mean, that's it
Mhm.
sounds harsh, but that's what
It's
it
just the
that's
reality
how
of
they
it.
look at things. That's just
Uh-huh.
how it is.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
can't eat on goodwill. You still need to make money.
Yeah.
And it's not like I don't. It's not like I say they should think about that. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to our.
Employees.
Oop, sorry. Moving on to our last topic.
No? Oh.
Uh,
What?
yeah, we're gonna talk about the effects of the club. Like, what do we experience as officers? Booting up our club again in the fall semester. I feel like we should also talk a little bit about the spring semester, how you guys became officers, and what the process felt like. Because I was already an officer last year, so like you guys are all new officers. So like, what was it like applying for a club that was going to have to turn virtual? And then we'll talk more about it later.
I'll say right away, I didn't think it was going to be virtual because wasn't it around what, April?
Yeah, we didn't know it was going to be virtual when we signed up. That was.
Yeah.
You didn't that until
Alice, you are sounding really choppy right now.
She's frozen for me. She's
Yeah,
sleeping.
Yeah.
frozen.
Oh
Oh,
So
no.
I thought we were gonna. Oh gosh,
yeah.
I was doing.
Did someone open Netflix on your side?
Uh,
Okay, we don't have Netflix.
Oh no.
Okay,
it's Hulu then.
Yep.
It's the 5G.
Oh, bro.
should I leave? Should I leave and rejoin?
No,
No,
I won't.
you sound a bit better.
Yeah, you're starting to sound better.
Oh, she's frozen again.
Yep.
Oh, oh okay.
Audio's still good though.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So what were you saying?
Um. Wait. Yeah. Sorry.
Stop
Before
laughing.
my internet acted up, I didn't think it was going to be online. I thought everything was still really up in the air, and
Hmm.
no one really knew how bad it was gonna get. So I thought we were going back to class at least in like the later half of the semester,
Yeah.
but we're not going back for the rest of the year. So,
Yeah. Kind of
uh,
unfortunate.
not what I signed up for, but I guess we'll deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I remember like in April, I was like, "Oh, I want to be an officer," and then I was typing it out. And I wasn't really thinking like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to do this online. That's gonna be weird." But
Hmm.
yeah, Eric, something to say?
Let's see. I mean, overall, I'm pretty sure. I don't know who was the events manager or events chair last year for the club, but I'm pretty sure that has definitely changed the way we go about events.
Hmm.
Doing everything online it's odd. It's odd. It's very odd,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I feel like it's harder than if it was to be in person because having to get people to attend,
Yeah.
having to
Especially.
get them to attend consistently, specifically.
Hmm.
You know, it's probably the
Yeah.
hardest part.
And the option of using like Discord versus Teams versus
Yeah,
Skype
choosing
or
the platform.
yeah,
Absolutely.
all that was very strange for us because we we were gonna go with like what we used to have, but we're like, that's not really optimized for today's problem, which is video chat and being able to present things to people. We could have used Slack, but it's not as powerful as maybe Discord, where we can have bots do some of the dirty work for us, where it'll monitor language and make sure that people are doing things correctly and have roles that could be a lot more customizable and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, if anyone's curious why we're using Discord, that's the main reason why, as officers, we felt like using Discord would be the best idea because just having the ability and the sociability that Discord offers is kind of unbeatable right now. Like the way the platform has like really established itself is very interesting. But yeah, um,
Yeah, Discord is probably the best option. My
Yeah, I
gosh.
agree. No, I agree.
Yeah. It also makes it feel more. What can I say?
homely.
More homely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And I think
because
more
like
people definitely use this than say Slack or Microsoft Teams. But I mean, everyone's on Teams now because
all classes
classes,
are on
right?
there.
School.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So yeah,
But I feel like no one really wants to be on teams other than school. Like I know I don't check teams as regularly as I should, but
yeah,
I definitely check Discord like too
yeah.
often.
I always
But
have Discord open on the
like
background
I forget
because
about.
yeah,
Here it is. Like this is the one flaw of Discord or just in general going online. Like not everyone has
connection.
reliable
yeah,
connections 24/7. Even I don't have a reliable connection 24/7. There's been a instance where like I'm doing an assignment and my internet just poops and it's gone and I can't do it and I just like lost all my work.
One of the big
yeah,
issues, like
definitely.
I've already experienced it, where multiple people during an exam shut off, and the professor calls them out and says, "Hey, your video's
Dang.
not on. Your video's not on. You've been disqualified from this test. Thank you for getting a zero." I'm just like, what? That's so
That's
unfair.
harsh.
It
Yeah.
is super harsh, but like we're in engineering. Teachers are going to be harsh. They're going to be strict because well, they need the rigor. But it's just like that poor guy just got a zero for getting a connectivity issue. And lots of
Yeah.
teachers are actually being very understanding about this. Don't get me wrong. Like, of course, I think the professor was like kind of joking at the moment, but it was still kind of concerning to be like, he could have gotten a zero if the professor wasn't going to be easy about it. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would really
Um,
Yeah,
suck to get a zero because your internet is crap and like your webcam is crap.
that would suck. Yeah,
yep.
connectivity issues. One of my professors for ECS 3390
Hmm.
often cuts off, very often,
Yep.
and yeah, it's interesting. But I mean, I can go through without that lecture, to be honest.
Yep. Another thing I like to say is I've experienced it where professors don't expect people to be wearing headphones or be at home, and they yell into their mic. They're just like straight up yelling, and it's just like it's not their fault because I don't think they like check how their audio sounds and all these things because all they're doing is giving a class. But like my brother was crossing my room the other day. He's just like, who's yelling? And like, which live streamer are you listening to? They're just yelling. I was just like, that's my teacher. They just straight up like yell, and I don't think they're conscious of this, but yeah, they do not use a like normal person voice. They use a lecture voice, which like I would understand in a classroom setting. You need to project all the way to the back of the room, so you need to project. But since you're right here next to your mic, you don't really need to do that. So I don't know. It's kind of funny. Every time I get into the class, I'm just like, all right, gonna lower down the volume to like 25. I'll just hear it perfectly fine. So I don't know.
Funny. I
Yeah,
have not run into that issue, but
me neither.
yeah, they don't scream at me. They just talk to me.
They talk at.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I have
Yeah.
like two professors that are really good about it. They're just talking, but I have like another two professors that just yell into the mic. I'm just like Jesus. Okay,
True.
I don't know. It's a funny little issue.
Yeah.
But going back to the club,
Yeah.
Justin and Alice are the PR um, officers. So, what kind of issues are you guys facing in terms of public relations? Because, public usually means connecting to people, but we're all many miles away. And yeah, how are you guys handling that?
I mean, we can't really do anything. I think, like on campus, normally we would post flyers around, but it goes on to campus. But it just really depends on social media.
Yeah.
Now,
Uh-huh.
whoever checks Facebook and stuff. And like our Twitter is very has very few followers, so to avoid. And Facebook does better.
Yeah,
Kind of
that's the
sad
thing
though, but
that yeah,
we'll try.
Yeah.
that's the thing that sucks. Like anybody that's not already kind of invested into social media, I know the majority is probably Facebook. If you don't have a Facebook, then you just choose not to be on social media. Period. I think that's my takeaway. But like,
Yeah.
not everybody has an Instagram. Not everybody has a Twitter type of deal. So like, when we
Yeah.
use those platforms, it's like not everybody's gonna get the information.
Yeah. So do you
Even
think
email.
that email is a little bit
Yeah,
more effective than social medias?
You see, that's
definitely.
I think it is more
I think so.
effective, but even then, there are too many people that still don't check their emails, and
Hmm.
like they're in my classes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
you
I
see
feel like
them
the problem
wondering.
now is there are too many emails. Like I get like 20 emails a day, and I just don't want to check it. Like I get notifications, but I'm just like, how much of this is important? Am I gonna open my email for
Yeah.
all these events I don't have time for? No.
Yeah. Or whenever a teacher makes an edit on an assignment, Blackboard and an email comes in.
Oh my god.
I
I hate Blackboard notifications.
yeah, my
Last night,
professors have no idea how to use Blackboard. I think because I'll get like 6 emails about the same assignment, and the first email is like, uh, assignment X posted, assignment assignment X dash one posted, and then it's just all the revisions that they had to make. It's kind of funny, but oh man, those that's like two that's 3 notifications because my regular email gets sent, I mean gets notified, my school email gets notified, and my Blackboard app gets notified. So it's just like always having full things. It feels nice because it feels like people are talking to me, but at the same time, it's just all school. So
yeah,
it's just like
it's like school is no longer school. It's just a simulated part of our lives, and I hate it. I can't just say, okay, I'm at home. I deserve a break. No, I'm always at school all the time.
yeah,
And
that's another really
like
really big thing. Like psychologists were talking about is like with having work at home now, there's no separation of like, oh, I'm gonna be at work and now I'm gonna be home, so I can be in a state of relaxation. No, you're just constantly always going to be on the grind at school, which is kind of horrifying. So
it sucks.
yeah,
yeah. Just don't relax.
yeah.
Just go
And then
hard.
on the flip side, people are taking this as a time to relax, and while a class is playing, they'll just be playing Minecraft or something.
Might be me.
Yeah,
All I gotta
Scrolling
do is turn the monitor
Twitter.
over and
Although
go
let's
right
be real
there.
here, people do that. People do that in person classes too. So like,
Oh
I
yeah,
They
guess you're
do.
right. I mean,
yeah.
it's those people that are doing it, so it's good fun. At least they're not distracting anyone else this time
Yeah,
around.
yeah,
True.
this is
mm-hmm.
true. Unless they
I've been
leave
in
their
a
mic
few classes. Yeah, I was about to say I've been in a few classes where they leave their mic on and they're like playing music in the back and they're just like
Oh
shouting some random words like hey.
on. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I feel that.
Um,
Oh man.
Funny stuff.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I
Online
get Blackboard notifications on my phone. So last night, I got a notification at like 1 a.m. saying this is overdue, and I'm like, what? Excuse me, I didn't take a test, and so I went and checked, but I already took the test. It was and it was like
It
a
was
Yeah, I remember.
quiz
I
from
feel that.
like a
Yeah.
couple of days, due a couple days ago, and I just got the notification to do it, but I already did it. And I was like, Blackboard, please don't. And I got an email for that too. I was like, okay, I don't need this. It's late. I don't.
yeah.
I can't go back to sleep now. My anxiety
Yeah.
is like too high.
Yeah. You spiked me up and now I'm stuck.
That's
Oh.
all on the professor though,
Now I'm
because
just gonna lie awake for another 3 hours.
I think that's all on the professor though, because I think e-learning or Blackboard has the tools to be set up properly. Like I know my DMS professor, maybe not DMS is a good example. My systems professor, like all of the stuff that he posts like comes in on a timely manner on my phone through my email. Like I see the notification that something's due. I like transfer it over to my Notion. I like it's all timely. I can deal with that. But like my K&D professor, he doesn't put assignments. He just puts folders with the assignments in the folders, and like they never register as like assignments that are due. So I don't really see them because when I log into e-learning, I have it set up so I can see what like my tasks are on the side, like what's due today, what's due tomorrow, what's due this week, and like because he doesn't label them as assignments and just puts them as files, it just messes the whole thing up for me. So I gotta go check his stupid class, go in it, figure everything out. It takes an extra 10, 15 seconds, and I could do something else with that.
Hmm. You could be solving the problems with those
There
10,
you go.
15
Exactly.
seconds.
There you go. That's extra brain power, brain
Yeah.
computation time.
Yep. Oh
That
man.
reminds me of physics lab. Like they posted all the labs and all like the data like
Hmm.
in the folders. It's just like 20 assignments that are staring me down that I don't want to do. But
Yeah.
like they're due weekly, so I have to do them. But for like the week for the lab this week, they posted pictures of the lab, which is nice because most of the labs don't have pictures. But they posted it in 8 separate files,
Hmm.
and
Mm.
I'm not sure why. We now have to download every single one of them, and they're PowerPoints.
Oof.
And I'm really confused on why they chose to do it that way. But I mean, I guess
Yep.
Noobs.
technology.
Yep. Alrighty. Uh, since I'm in charge of like projects and competitions, I'll just go into my sector before we just kind of talk about either general club stuff or call it at the end of our little podcast. Um, but yeah, in terms of competitions, it's kind of weird because when COVID is a thing, I mean, when COVID wasn't a thing, it was very easy what we're going to do for a competition. We're going to participate on some national or international competition, meet up and brainstorm some problem or something like that. And now all the competitions are either not happening or virtual. And it's there's some points to like virtual competitions that aren't worth it. It almost feels like the competitions still expect you to go through the manufacturing process and all the things, but not race it, and that's very expensive. Um, and I feel like for our club, it's not as beneficial to go through the manufacturing process and all these things if we're not going to race. But at the same time, that's an experience. On the other side, our school has said no in person meetings by any means. Absolutely no means. So manufacturing wasn't going to be possible either way. So it's very strange to like try to join virtual competitions. So that's why me and Alex have decided to just call it um, a training year. We're going to be offering small competitions for people. We're going to be doing um, workshops and stuff like that, and still try to make it as engaging as possible, and to give you guys as much things to kind of put on a what is it called, on a portfolio. Like that's one of the big things I want to work on is like people's portfolios and make sure that they have things in there so that when you go into the workforce you have something to present. But it's a little bit hard right now because like I could assign like, oh yeah, we're gonna do the human powered vehicle, but I'm not expecting you to go through the whole process by yourself. We can set up a team to do it, but it's really awkward because even with like small groups, like the ones I have for classes and stuff, setting up schedules and meetings and stuff like that is very difficult when you don't have an in-person kind of setting. So uh, that's why it's been very strange for me and trying to adapt competitions in an online format and try to create things because I do enjoy making fun challenges for those who went to the egg drop last year. That was my own creation, and it sure did have some flaws, but the point of it was to be challenging in a very big way. It was a
Yeah, it
little
was
bit
fun.
annoying, but
It was fun though.
yeah,
The score
that's
was
my point.
rigged.
But yeah, it was definitely very challenging, and I love making challenges like that. It's nothing like whenever I'm going to make a competition or a challenge of some sort, I don't want it to be easy. I want it to be actually challenging and to have some validity back to back of it, especially if it's something easy like an egg drop. I don't want it to be where it's just like, oh, we're having an egg drop, and because of that, we're going to make it like super simple. No, add an economy to it. Do something crazy. Make it seriously like make people panic because that's the way challenges should be. Um, so it's very strange because now all the projects I do either have to be based on a virtual team or individual, and I don't want to stress people out with virtual teams. I might make like a 1 or 2 person competition maybe next semester because I kind of already have all my plans set for this semester. Um, so yeah, that's what's happening with competitions. For anyone that's curious about that, workshops are gonna still go through. They are still very new, so we're adapting to it. But yeah, that that's the way we're feeling about that. You guys have got anything about competitions or virtual things that you want to talk about?
I just think it's pretty sad that we can't necessarily continue doing competitions team
Hmm.
as like as we were doing before. But,
Yeah,
I mean,
because like
I'm sure it will. Yeah,
we'll go back to it eventually, but
yeah,
like yeah, last year we were a pretty tight knit group, especially that second semester when things were a lot more stable. Um, so yeah, it's unfortunate, but we're also learning and kind of restructuring things in the background so that next time we go into it, it's all there. It's not just like you got to fit all the pieces back together. No, we want to hit the floor running next time we get a shot at doing a physical competitions team. So yeah. All right. So is there anything else you guys want to talk about the club in general? Um, things that you guys like or do not like that the club's doing right now?
I don't know. It's just been a lot to like deal with, especially as officers we have a lot more responsibility, and it's kind of I know I've missed a couple deadlines myself, and
Yeah.
it's kind of it's hectic to deal with everything with like school and school projects and group projects and comments to the core.
Yeah.
oh boy, yeah.
Good stuff.
Sucks for y'all. I don't have that.
I don't have it either. I was a transfer student.
Hey, hey.
Lucky.
Yeah.
It's fine. I had a good group. It was, but I got lucky. Some of my friend groups haven't started, and I'm kind of worried because it's due in like 4 days.
Oh, yeah,
But
that's great fun.
it's fine. You know, they'll work it out. Group
That's right. It's
projects
due
are really
Thursday.
hard, especially since they're online now, and everyone's busy all the time.
Yeah.
It's not an exaggeration. It's just school and like personal life has just bled so much together that
Yeah.
it's just that much harder to de-stress and that much harder to find time to make time for other things.
Yep.
On another note, I mean, I agree and kind of disagree because I think college has kind of always been like that. Just kind of trying to find that balance between school, work, going out hanging out with friends, sleep, all that stuff. And
Yeah.
then now, like this whole online format kind of just makes you a little bit more accountable because now, like, your only form of communication, your only form of getting things done, school related at least,
It's your
is like
computer.
is a computer and it's instant.
Yeah.
So it's up to you if you want to get it done, if you want to get it done then.
Yep.
And for
I
me,
I feel like it's like you're saying, it's exactly the same. It just feels more exaggerated
Yeah, yeah.
because it all
It's right there
happens
in
in
your
one
face.
place, your bedroom or your
Yeah,
office, whatever you're lucky to have. So, yeah, I totally get both of you guys because, yeah, there has been psychology studies of this specific thing, the disconnect from work, personal life, and a place to sleep. Like, they're important things to differentiate and to not meld together because, like, even while you're sleeping, you're thinking of schoolwork, and that can be very not healthy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely benefited from in-person classes. Like, I really like the physical disconnect, and
yeah,
it's probably because I commuted from school, and so like last semester we were in person. Like, I went home, maybe had dinner, and then I went to sleep, or like did work, and then for like an hour or two and went to sleep. I did most of my studying on like in between classes or at school.
Hmm.
I was on campus for most of the day, and so I had a distinct disconnect between like productive time and like personal time. And even though my personal time is a lot shorter, it was a lot shorter, it felt more like productive, I guess. It felt more like I was maxing more, like even if it was a shorter amount of time, just because I was in a different physical space and I had that distinction between like if I'm at school, I'm productive. If I'm at home, I can sleep. And so um I think that's just the biggest thing for me. Like I don't have that disconnect that y'all might not need.
hmm.
Like
Hmm.
it's just hard.
No, I totally feel you. Like when I was back on campus last this, I guess fall 19, spring 20, fall 19 in particular. Like I had a routine: go to class, learn whatever I can in that hour and 15 minutes, leave, go play pool at the SU. And then from there, I'd go play more pool off campus at a different place. So, like, I was having my me time, like, I was having my fun time. Then I'd go home, do homework at my desk where I designate where I do my work, go out, probably play pool again, and then go have my me time, go have my fun time, drive around, do whatever it is that I wanted to do. Now it's like, well, I can't play pool anymore because bars are closed, everything's closed, which super sucks. And yeah, I mean that's just gone for me. I'm just here at my desk. Lately, I've kind of started to adapt to this whole thing, and like now I just say, okay, I'm done. I'm not gonna worry about this anymore, and I'll like go do something else because
Yep.
like earlier on it was just too much to handle. It's like yeah, I could stop doing, but I could also just keep working because there's a deadline and I need to finish it
Hmm.
type of deal. That was like the thought. Those were the thoughts going on in my head. So now I just say, nah, I'm done
Yep.
for whatever, whenever. Yeah.
Eric, you got anything?
Yeah, I got some. Yeah. See this nice bungee chair? See this
Oh,
bungee chair? That's where I do everything. I wake up, take two steps. Guess what? Class. Taking those two steps back to my bed until my next class.
yep.
Uh, and no, I don't know. This chair has become my new best friend. Really. Yeah, it doesn't cut the blood flow off my legs. Would recommend a
Huh.
bungee chair. They're pretty
That,
nice.
that's
No,
kind
but
of funny.
yeah,
That's kind of funny because we
yeah,
were making fun of bungee chairs for a competition, and
dude.
now they sound like a good idea.
You know what? I mean, you know, free
Hmm.
bungee
Hey,
chair
what
is a
works
free bungee
works.
chair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever
No,
works.
but yeah. Having my desk space be my workplace, my entertainment place, my right next door, my sleeping place.
Yeah.
It's definitely different.
Yep.
I wouldn't want to do this normally, but
Well, that was our first episode of the ASME podcast Mech Talk. Thanks for watching. Join us later this month for our second episode Until then, sorry we got a little bit cut off there at the ending. Again, we had a lot of technical difficulties, a lot of issues we had to play through, but we're just gonna call it our first episode. So we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.